All right, welcome back, Chris. I want to get right to this. So the NCAA, some schools, some conferences are playing, some aren't. What if someone wants to transfer right now? Do you think they should let that happen? If a Penn State kid wants to go to Pitt because he knows Pitt's going to play?
Unequivocally, yes. There's zero question in my mind that kids have to be allowed to transfer immediately. I mean, think about how absurd the reality is in the NCAA that kids still get held up in some cases for a year on a transfer. But if the coach that recruited them bolts for another job because he's got a better one lined up or a more lucrative one, there's no penalty there. There's a buyout that the side that's hiring that coach usually is more than willing to pay. So, yes, I mean, unequivocally and with no real qualifiers whatsoever, my simple answer there is yes, they should be allowed to play immediately if they transfer to a school that is playing football.
But I meant schools that aren't playing right now. Like Penn State's not playing in the fall. Pitt is.
If Lamont Wade wants to come to Pitt and get some time in the secondary, go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I think that should happen.
How could you do it otherwise? I mean, the kids want to play. This is the situation I always think of. Like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields get brought up because they're big names. Those guys don't need to play another down. Micah Parsons doesn't need to play another down and won't play another down because they're going to be top 5 picks. And in Fields and Lawrence's case, it's going to be 1, 2 in some order. Think about a guy who is either on the fringes of getting drafted. Joe Burrow's the example everybody uses because he went from like 4th or 5th round to #1 overall pick. But think of a guy who might go from the 5th round, and if he has a good season, he could go all the way to the 2nd round. There's a big difference in money there. Or somebody trying to play themselves from the 2nd round into the 1st round. Guys like that. And there are a bunch of them, obviously. You have to give those players a chance, I think. Anything less is just unfair. And there's going to be a risk involved for them, and I think they understand that risk. But anything less is not fair to them.
And I think Lamont Wade is a great example. If he doesn't play this year, that potentially could hurt him when it comes to drafting in the NFL. I mean, this is kind of a good year for a guy like him, that he could be catapulted to somewhere where he could be making a lot of money or being a free agent type guy. I know he has 2 more years left, but this is a critical year. So a guy like him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players like that. I mean, he harbors obviously, or he commands local interest because he's from Clairton, but there's a lot of players across the country like that. And I'm going to get back on my soapbox here for 10 seconds and just say this is once again an example of what a decentralized mess college football is. The NCAA has zero oversight whatsoever. So if you are under the pretense that the college football playoff has anything to do with the National Collegiate Athletic Association, you are wrong. It is a complete creation of the Power Five. And this is where you want to talk about good governance here. Like we talked about in Pennsylvania high school sports, we need somebody to step up and be a leader. What does Mark Emmert do for money? He gets paid a lot of it. His organization does absolutely nothing. And I think the fact that you have this decentralized mess is why you have so few good answers to what's going on in college football right now.
You're 100% right. Let's go out to Mike in Oakland. How you doing, Mike?
Rich, my friend, always a pleasure. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thanks for calling, my man.
Hey, listen, I was watching the other day. I think Jason had the Blades of Steel shirt on, and you were talking about the game. You know, I remember
Chris.
Pennsylvania, Contra, Metroid, eating some Isley's ice cream.
I loved Contra. Contra was one of the best games ever.
Up, down, down, left, right, BA, start, select, 30 lives, baby. Let's go.
Exactly. Well, listen, no, the reason I called is just change a little topic about the Pirates, like I usually call Rich. 4-14, guys. I mean, 8-1 loss today. They're the only team in Major League Baseball that haven't won back-to-back games. You know what? It's not so much this season, but you know what's depressing? None of the quote guys that were supposed to produce are doing anything this year, and we don't have a farm system. So are we really just supposed to just hope and wait for years and years till we draft enough guys? Then they hope they improve, and Nutting's going to keep the payroll at 40, 50, 60 million, and we're going to be in.
Did you ever watch the Simpsons? Did you ever watch The Simpsons? There's an old episode. Yeah. There's an old episode where they're basically making fun of baseball's steroid scandal. To answer this caller, this is what I'm saying. And Mark McGuire is saying something he's asked a question and he says, "Do you want to hear the awful truth, or do you want to watch me sock some dingers?" So, do you want to hear the awful truth about the Pirates, or do you want me to make up something here? I mean, it's going to take them several years to contend. That's the bottom line, in my estimation. And the biggest shame of it is not just that guys like Brian Reynolds and Josh Bell aren't producing right now. Their players that they consider to be pieces for the future, by and large, are already on the wrong side of 25. Way too close to it for comfort. That is a bad thing in baseball. Like, people talk about Kevin Newman like he's a second-year guy. Let's see what you've got. he's closer to 30 than he is 20. That is not good. That is not how you build a team anymore. This is the post-PED era, and guys aren't playing well into their late 30s.
Yeah, you got to hit on all those young prospects, too, if we're a couple years away here. They need pitching. They need a lot of help. Brian Reynolds, one of your stars, batting 186. So, they're in trouble right now. They're on pace for 12 wins this year, which is, what, a 132-loss season if it were a normal season. All right, let's go out to Pete out in Squirrel Hill. How you doing, Pete?
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
Good, thanks for calling.
Hey, Rich, a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Paul Zeiss about this. I can't understand why any game Josh Butler's on the field with a glove on. With the DH being the National League, why doesn't a Soto play first base every night? He's a superior defender. You get his bat in the lineup every night, and Bo DHs. Paul said that he's putting up resistance with the management, Bo, because he works hard in the offseason on his defense. Well, I got news for Josh Bo. Great defenders are born, they're not made. That's why Willie Mays was Willie Mays, Ozzie Smith was Ozzie Smith, and Nolan Arenado is Nolan Arenado. He's not a team guy, Rich, if he doesn't let management put the best product on the field. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I can make the argument that they don't want to put the best product on the field right now, Chris. They've had
I've made that argument numerous times, but that's what Del Pozo is for, not Josh Bell. Yeah, I mean, you can make a guy into a good first baseman in my estimation, so I disagree there. I like Josh Bell a lot. I think in a perfect world, he would be the guy personality-wise, and if he was hitting consistently 40 home runs, he'd be the face of my franchise. And now that the DH looks like it'll be universal, it would be as that. Jose Osuna, to me, is Yuso Ricola for the Pirates. Not like some great player, but he's obviously better in one narrow area, defense at first base, than anybody else they have or than the guy who's playing it and should be allowed to. Josh Bell might work hard on his defense, but guess what? To quote National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, so do washing machines as far as working hard. And working hard at the professional level is not some guarantee of you get to do this, you get to do that. Love Josh Bell, want him to focus on the bat because that's his meal ticket.
Yeah, I'd like to see Colin Moran more at first and maybe Eric Gonzalez at third. We got to go to our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day right now. This is from Pro Football Focus, and it has the Steelers, the highest graded defense, pass rush in 2019 here, and they're off to a good start. The Steelers, they're expecting some big things here. Steelers, Rams, 49ers, Packers. That's the way it's looking from Pro Football Fantasy Football Focus. Back in a couple of minutes with more of your calls, some of your tweets. Stay right there.